we know there's a crisis. We know it causes significant problems and chronic disease. Let's look at what people really need to know about this disease and what other options there are to manage this and prevent this disease that Verta Health offers.
Yeah, well, maybe just to take a step back, why I became a co-founder of Verta Health in the first place, because it kind of answers, in my opinion, how to address the disease. So as you mentioned earlier, previous to Verta Health, I started a company called Trulia, which is a tech company. It's an online real estate marketplace in the United States. So I come from a background of technology and studied physics. So I come from outside of healthcare, and I should have said that in the beginning, that I'm not a medical doctor and I don't play one on the internet. So whatever I say about statistics and metabolic health, I try to just back it up with data, but don't try to overreach. But in any case, so I come from a tech background. I was, and hopefully still, pretty high performing endurance athlete, but years ago did a lot of triathlons and the Hawaii Ironman 7 times and won the world championships in my age group in triathlon. So I was a very, very fit. And this was year 2011. And if you had asked me then, how about let's go and solve obesity and type 2 diabetes, because they are big problems, right? I would say, oh yeah, absolutely. Huge problems. But let's be honest. It's food. It's nutrition. So you can only blame yourself. So if you get sick, it's your hand and it's your mouth and your brain. That's your problem.
Yeah.
How do you solve that? Bottling willpower? Maybe. Well, how do you bottle willpower? So I probably would have rolled my eyes and said, impossible. There's no way you can solve type 2 diabetes and obesity because people are just lazy and Western lifestyle and whatnot. Fortunately, or maybe unfortunately, that totally changed in my mind, and my kind of perspective of what's going on here totally changed when I discovered that despite my fitness and leanness and exercise, I was on my way to type 2 diabetes myself, and I was already pre-diabetic myself. And of course, that was kind of like eating a very humble pie, pun intended. Like, wow, now it's me. And I thought it's only the lazy people in quote unquote in America, middle of America, who are suffering from metabolic disease. But obviously I was completely wrong. And I would say in my own frustration and trying to get to the root of it, like what the heck's going on here? I met a couple of amazing scientists, Dr. Stephen Finney and Dr. Jeff Bolek, and read their studies and research and met them. And I guess I sort of concluded 2 things with them. One was, obviously, I was wrong. Diabetes, obesity is not a personal choice. People don't just decide one day that, hey, I want to gain 30 kilos or 70 pounds and develop type 2 diabetes. So it's a metabolic disease. That's one. And then the second is really why we started Verta. The second aha for me, which I learned through these 2 amazing scientists, was these are not chronic irreversible diseases with the one-way street, particularly type 2 diabetes. Contrary to what we are told, and still too many people say, type 2 diabetes is not a miraculous chronic progressive disease where the best you can do is to slow down the progression and still likely die and deal with all the complications of dialysis and amputations and blindness. It is a reversible condition with, nutrition. With nutrition. If you can use nutrition in a way that it is not a willpower exercise, if you can use nutrition in a way that you don't have to be hunger and restrict yourself all the time. And guess what? It's possible to do that. And so, long story short, when I discovered this and became convinced that this is true, I said, wait a second. We are sitting on a quote unquote secret. We have to get this out to the world. There's millions, actually, we just talked about billions of people now globally who needlessly suffer from type 2 diabetes and obesity. They try all these diet and exercise programs, and they fail. And then the established medical system and providers, well-meaning, the best they can offer is, here's a bunch of drugs to treat your symptoms. Yes. So I said, hey, let's go. We have to reverse type 2 diabetes and obesity because it's possible. And if we can figure out a way to deliver the care digitally through computers and smartphones and telemedicine, we can scale it. We can do it cost effectively, and we can reach millions of people, not just a few hundred or a few thousand locally. So that kind of led me into healthcare about 10 years ago, completely out of the blue. And that's to kind of a long answer to your question, that the key tool addressing metabolic disease or reversing it, not just addressing, is nutrition.